Oh, you can't see my hand. Hi. I was like waving with this hand, and I was like, nobody.
It's hard in this box.
No, it's really hard when you like because it mirrors it weirdly.
It does.
Anyway, this is the live show for My Killer Vacation.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't actually know where my book is.
That's okay. I was like trying to figure it out, and I was like, where did I put my books?
I think it's over. I put it in an unhaul pile.
I will be
already. Already.
Yeah.
So I went to my library yesterday and I asked, so do you take donations? And they were like, yes, it has to be within the last 5 years in good condition, and it has to have like the spine has to be on it. I was like, I can do that.
Okay.
My Killer Vacation.
I wish you guys had Pango because it's so easy.
I really do. It would make so much sense. But I think I've seen people sell stuff on like Depop. I think I've seen people sell books on Depop, which is a possibility. But anyway, we are here to talk about the chaotic mess that is My Killer Vacation. So, should we start with what we thought of it?
Like star ratings, and that's it.
I like that you were just like, well.
Yeah. Okay. So, to preface this, hi Neva. I am not a big Tessa Bailey stan. Like the only book that I have read and liked by her is It Happened One Summer. Like I just feel like that is good, you know?
That is also my only good Tessa Bailey book.
Yeah, but I was excited for this. Like I actually bought this.
With your hand.
I bought this before we announced that this was the group book. So like I already had it. It was super easy. Like I bought it with my own money. So like I knew I wanted to read it. But I ended up only giving this 3 stars, which 3 stars is not bad. But I'm wondering if she had to self-publish this because literally no one would take it.
Fair.
Like
fair. I also gave it 3 stars, but I think I might readjust that.
I thought you gave it 2.
Did I give it 2?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
Then I already readjusted it and gave it 2 because my I read a lot of this while I was on an antibiotic trip. So I want you to keep that in mind. That heavily influenced how I was feeling about this book. I know I read this going into Tuesday. On Tuesday, I was like not in a good place antibiotically. And I got to chapter 18 and everybody, like Brianna from Four Paws in a Book told me, prepare yourself for chapter 18. And I was like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. My good Lord.
Listen, I stand by chapter 18.
I love when people start a sentence with listen.
Chapter 18, 16 and 18 were the only good chapters in this entire book, and I think
yes.
Go down with I understand why people don't like chapter 18. It's very taboo.
Yeah,
but
I do understand.
So I understand. Like we're definitely going to disagree on that, but as a person who is not religious, I thought it was funny. Like that's just my humor.
I grew up religious, but left the church when I was about 16, I think. So I understand the reason for writing it because I know that there's a lot of people who are like, oh, it's like a big turn on to do that. Where we can spoiler, right?
Yeah.
I know that for so many people, having sex in a church or in a graveyard or things like that is like this really big turn on. But I also see the other side where there's going to be a lot of people who are still very religious, who are still very involved in their church, who are still very Jesus stands, and they're like, this is sacrilegious.
Offensive, yeah.
And y'all are going to prison.
For me, it was funny, but that's just like me as a person.
So. Let's say hi in the comments. Where are we? I don't think you're the only one who DNF'd it. Hi, Emma. Hi, Crystal. We're going to spoiler this. So if you do want to read it.
I actually don't recommend this. I would say.
That's fair, Rush.
Yeah.
Hi, Amy. That is also fair.
That I like.
That was hilarious.
This one and also
hilarious.
the epilogue. Yeah, the epilogue too was so like embarrassing. Like I had secondhand embarrassment.
Hi, my name is Aoife, and I fucking hate it when there's a proposal in an epilogue.
Yeah,
it's so cliche.
And also, like how long? I can't remember because I read like 6 books in between this one and where I am now. But I can't remember how long they had like known each other before. 2 years. 2 years. That's totally fine.
2 years is okay. 2 years is fine. Because I know I recently read Not Written in the Stars Gold, the second one.
Yeah. Hang the Moon.
And that also has the same thing. That also has a proposal in the epilogue. And I was like, no, please don't do this.
It doesn't bother me. I'd prefer that than a surprise pregnancy.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of surprise pregnancy. No, and I think if there was a surprise pregnancy in this book, which we could have had.
I don't know if
I don't think it would have been a bad thing.
I don't know if Tessa Bailey likes that. I've never seen her. I just bought another Tessa Bailey book that
you have never saved money, you've saved time, you've saved your sanity.
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars, which I think is a good review, but like I don't think I would recommend this one because there's just so many other better books. And also I hated Miles.
I don't think that this is a starter Tessa Bailey book.
No.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna give Tessa Bailey a go. Hi, Brie.
Hi, Brie.
If you want to give Tessa Bailey a go, I think both of us will stand in team It Happened One Summer.
Yep.
I think you enjoyed Hook, Line, and Sinker more than I did, but both of us enjoyed It Happened One Summer more.
Yes.
Than Hook, Line, and Sinker. I think those are probably your better avenues to go down if you're like, I've never read a Tessa Bailey book, but I hear a lot of people who are talking about her, and I don't know where to start off. I would not give somebody in that sense of direction Hook or My Killer Vacation.
No, I think like, okay, so it sounds cool. A romance mystery, right? A murder.
Great book.
Right.
I think this is like, great idea, poor execution, make it a book.
Yeah. And which I think is why she had to self-publish it.
I mean, that doesn't make sense. Do you think that she went to her traditional publisher, which I think is Avon? Do you think that she went to them and they're like, this is my idea and this is what I'm going to do with it, and now here's the finished product, go publish this and put this in shops? And they were just like, you are girl bossing far too close to the sun now.
I honestly don't know, because I feel like they would have published it fine, but maybe she just wanted to see how it would go being self-published. But then she had all the cover controversy that really messed it up.
I was actually going to bring that up. Do you think that, I don't want to say that this is the main reason a lot of people would have read it, because I know that there's a lot of people who love Tessa Bailey anyway. But do you think that whole cover controversy, and if people aren't aware of the cover controversy, there was an author / cover designer. When the first cover for My Killer Vacation came out, this person was like, this is so similar to my cover that I think you've ripped off the cover design of my book. And everyone in the book tour was like, no. This is just a really common design for romance covers. I don't even remember what the old cover looked like.
The old cover was so ugly.
It was. I prefer this one.
So ugly.
I much prefer this one. But do you think that kind of notoriety and that kind of press for this book made people go, oh, I've never heard Tessa Bailey before, I'm going to check it out. Or, oh, new Tessa Bailey book, I'm going to check it out. Or, oh, I'm a little bit on the fence for Tessa Bailey books, I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I think Tessa Bailey was put in the spotlight, and it wasn't like her fault. you know, like it was her cover designer's fault. Yeah, it's not, none of them are good.
It's not great, but it's better.
It
I
is
think I
better.
can find it on like my phone and hold it up to the camera and hope that the camera will
Yeah.
react.
I think Tessa Bailey handled it really well and was like, obviously, we're getting a new cover and this is not how it goes. But like, I do feel like it gave it more press because it wasn't her fault. Like, she didn't instigate anything. Also, there was controversy with the other cover because the main Miles looked Asian and he is not.
Yes, he's not Asian. So if this shows up, and I'm so sorry if it doesn't, but this is what the old cover looked like. God damn it, Aoife, girl.
He's definitely Asian.
Not Asian.
Look, back Lexi just said the same thing I did.
Where is Lexi? Yes.
Yeah.
But also, I was talking to Lily from Literally Lily yesterday / the day before, and she doesn't think that cover is a very good representation of Miles either, because Miles in this one is like covered in tattoos and doesn't look like he has a dad bod. Looks like he's fairly put together.
They were saying when this one came out, he had a different tattoo. It was more of a tribal tattoo, and they changed that again. So there's been controversy and then another one just with the cover alone. So
it feels like the cover has been a bit of a trip for her. Like,
yeah, you can see that they changed the tattoo and now it's skulls and flowers, but the first original tattoo was tribal, and they were like, wait, because arcs came out and they
Miles
were like,
having a tattoo or a tribal tattoo absolutely matches up with his personality, because all
but it's
fact that I know have a tribal
yeah.
I was intrigued about the murder, and the spicy scenes that I got to read were good, but Miles put me off so much I couldn't read anymore. The possessiveness over a woman he met was insane. I want to talk about this for a bit, because I genuinely think that they wanted me to believe that Taylor Bassey is the dumbest woman that was ever put on this earth. Tessa Bailey wants me to believe that. Also, I've noticed a similarity between Taylor Bassey and Tessa Bailey.
I noticed that too.
And I was like, are you self-inserting?
Is this a self-insert?
Yeah. Ma'am. I figured it out. Are you self-inserting? But
yeah, I also thought it was a self-insert.
She wants me to believe that this is the dumbest woman that has ever been put on this planet. Like, that she cannot go down the street without Miles going, I need to protect you.
Yeah,
all the time, everywhere.
Well, she's like 26 and has been doing fine without him her whole entire life. And now I just hated Miles. He never got better for me, but I did love
redeeming.
No, I love the sex scenes. That's like really it for me.
That was it. I know that you said, I don't know if it was to me or in public, but if it was just the sex scene, if it was just chapter 18, 5 stars. But it was also chapters 1 to 17, and then whatever came after 19 to the epilogue.
Yeah, I really thought I was going to give it 5 stars after chapter 18 personally, but then Miles just continued to be an awful human being, and I could not justify that with a 5-star rating. So
there was just nothing that turned him around. There was nothing that you could say, oh, okay, so he was a bit intense, so he was a little bit misogynistic. But like, there's no but. I don't.
There was no but for me.
Miles did not have a but.
No
but. But there was just. It was. I didn't get the whole thing of like why this woman has come on the scene and then all of a sudden she can't tie her shoes by herself, basically.
Yeah, I absolutely hated the possessiveness. Like, that is not sexy. No. Like, it's creepy. It's creepy. If a man was following me around who I just met, I would call the police.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you'd be well within your rights too.
Thank you.
I agree with Brie. I think she was concentrating too much on making it work, so much so that she missed the bus.
Yeah, she wanted like both of these things to work together that none of them worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It did not work for. I know that there's so many people that it didn't work for, but also people who it did work for.
Yeah, so Kim isn't here, but Kim gave it 5 stars. Kaylee gave it 4 stars. She was like giggling all day yesterday in sprints because I sprinted with her like all day and night. And I would just look up and she would just be like giggling.
But is there any part of this book where you can say, hand on heart, oh, I see why she gave it 5? Because I can look at this book and be like, I have no idea where your 5 stars came from. Like, I know, was it Kim that said, I'm not reading this seriously? I'm just reading it like a parody.
Also, Kim is not a romance reader. Like,
okay.
So if this is one of the few romances she has ever gone into, then I can see it. You know?
But also then I feel like that's doing romance a disservice. Because I know that Lexi, who's also here, is not primarily a romance reader. I would say is not at all a romance reader. Like, she's probably read counts on 2 hands. But I know that she took part in Rom-Com-a-thon because she's quite good friends with you and she's quite good friends with me. And that she's going to go on then to, she was telling me this evening, she's going to go on to Dale for Aunties. And I was like, okay, good. That hasn't put you off finding another book of romance that, like, okay, this one didn't work for me because it was just bananas, but this one might work for me because it's got it's got that kind of a thriller mystery vibe to it. And the romance is very kind of subplot second idea of that book.
Yeah. And so, hi, Lexi. Lexi read My Killer Vacation first, but then still went on to read another Tessa Bailey, which is It Happened One Summer. So, like, it didn't make her never want to read a Tessa Bailey again, which is great.
Yes. And I know that there are people here who are like, because Roisin said it and Amy said it, that I have got another Tessa Bailey book. And now I'm a little bit unsure as to whether I should go into another Tessa Bailey book. And I know that you and I have a kind of a similar situation with that, in that you and I have both read Fix Her Up, didn't like it. The whole Hot and Hammered series, I think neither of us really enjoyed.
I stopped after the first one.
I read the first 2 and I kind of regret reading the second one.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Not jam with it.
No.
But then went on to It Happened One Summer.
Loved it.
And loved it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a thing of like just a dip in the road, a bad book by a good author, or...
I feel like the only thing Tessa Bailey can write is smut scenes, and she can't write plot. And that's it.
She's very much a head empty, no thoughts, just vibes.
Listen, yes. She's like me with writing. Me, like how I read, that's how she writes. Just vibes. And the vibes are smut. You know, like that's it. Let me get this book. I just got it the other day. It's one of her self-published ones, but it's...
And I'm also going to answer the question while Michelle's doing that I have seen in my English bookshop here in Berlin about 20,000 times. Every time I go in, I see window shopping and I've not gotten it. Oh, I've heard of Too Hot to Handle.
I have not. And this is the first time I've seen it in a bind up at a bookstore. But it looks like it's from Hachette. So
when I say I heard of it, I mean I have heard that it exists. I don't mean I've heard anything about what it's about.
So my bookstore is hosting Tessa Bailey, so they're bringing in like all of her books that they can get. So I mean, it didn't like My Killer Vacation. I had read My Killer Vacation and then went to the bookstore, so it didn't put me off buying another Tessa Bailey. Like either I'm gonna really like it or I'll sell it. Like it's, you know.
But do you feel a little bit kind of, oh, I've been burned by you so many times now that I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this one?
I don't know, because like I like her writing. I just don't like her plots. You know, like I feel like the writing is really easy. It's really like I don't have to think. It's just like I'm going for the ride only. So I feel like I will still pick up other Tessa Baileys. Like I know she has one coming out next year, has a pink cover. Do you know what I'm talking about? I can't. It's part of another series, but I cannot remember what it's called. Pink cover. That's all I got. So I will pick up that one.
I feel like the writing wasn't really different between the two of hers I just
Mhm.
read. I think it comes down to liking the characters or not. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
I feel like she does have a formula that works well for her. And I don't mean it in the same way that Ali Hazelwood had a formula of gigantic man, woman the size of a raisin.
Yeah.
They hang out and they have sex. Tessa Bailey she writes good. I will give it to her. She writes good smut. I will not permit baby girl to enter anybody's vocabulary. But other than that, she's good at writing sex scenes. She's good at writing smut. And she knows what works for her. It didn't work here. But I think that when she decided to self-publish it, or when she knew that she was going to self-publish it, she probably just let go of the reins a little bit and was like, I can basically do what I like with this book, and then proceeded to do.
Yeah. And like, I feel like even though it's self-published, it's still like did okay. You know, like we'll never know. It'll never hit lists or anything, but
that's what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in It Happened One Summer, there are constant references to Brendan being very heavily built. He's very goes to you know that he goes to the gym, whereas Piper is quite slender, quite petite. I do see what you mean there. I think both of us would big up It Happened One Summer, because that is the Tessa Bailey book that both of us in common really enjoyed. And also, I know that it gets a lot of press about this, but if you have if you've seen and enjoyed Schitt's Creek, it's very much a story of Alexis and a story of Alexis and Mutt, in woman who loses like all of her fortune and all of her money, goes to this small town and falls in love with one of the locals. That kind of a story. And I do see a couple of similarities in the stories. And I think I was sent a TikTok by Roisin here. There's going to be a film at some stage. I don't know when or how, but a screenplay is in the works.
That's great. I would watch it.
I mean, I would go and see that. I would go and see that. If it gets the same treatment that The Hating Game got, I'd probably go and see it.
I haven't seen that yet. I don't watch movies, but I do like The Hating Game.
It's quite a good film. Something else that struck me as concerning is the relationship between Taylor and her brother.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah. Okay. The sibling relationship. Yes. Okay.
Was a lot.
Please. So I only have a sister, right?
I have a brother.
Okay. But like me and my sister are not close at all. Like we live very close to each other and we do not speak. So like I don't know if it's normal, but it felt weird.
Well, my brother and I are quite close, not geographically, but in personality. So we're like the opposite of you two. And we are not that level of close.
Okay.
Like the last time that my brother and I hugged each other was when our cat died. And our cat's been dead for 6 years now. So I wouldn't want to be like dining out on that. And like we do have the kind of a relationship, and I think that that's a relationship that a lot of Irish people would have anyway. But we just take the piss out of each other, and we're very kind of like sarcastically jokey with each other. And I don't get the kind of, oh, I love you so much vibe. If I said that to my brother, he would genuinely think I was dying.
Right. Okay. And then would you, just you and your brother, go on a vacation, just the two of you together?
The only way that we would do that is if I was visiting him or he was visiting me.
Right.
Like
but would you both go to like a beach house?
No.
Okay.
No, we would probably bring our parents, because if we didn't, they'd be like, why can't we come?
Yeah. Sorry if you hear Rowan. I don't know what's going on.
He wants to be included.
He's having a great time.
Like, we have got a very good sibling relationship, my brother and I, but we don't go on trips together. The trips that we would go on are like day trips. We go shopping to this place because we wanted to get something, or we would, like, I'm going to visit him in November because we're going to a rugby match, and then we're going to a comedy gig in the evening. But that's kind of as far as it would go in the terms of going on a holiday just the
I
two
feel
of
like
us.
that's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal to me.
But I feel like that's a different thing. Like if you're going to visit your sibling rather than if you're going on a holiday with your sibling. But if we were going on a holiday together, our parents would probably be with us.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't do anything with my sister if my parents weren't involved. You know what I mean? Like that's just weird.
That's fair. I would go on a vacation with my sibling.
But that's like a group.
That's a group thing. Yeah. I don't think I would like, would you do it one-on-one with one of your siblings? It is weird. I likened it a little bit to the episode of Friends where Danny has his sister come to visit or come to stay. And Rachel sees them together on the subway and they're very close together. And she's like, oh my God, he's with somebody else. And then it turns out, no, it's his sister. It's all fine. But like they wrestle on the couch together and they take baths together and they do loads of other really weird things that she even like, because she doesn't like you, she doesn't have a brother, so she's like, I don't know if this is normal, I don't know if this is something that you do. And Ronica and
Monica. Same.
Monica and Ross are like, no, we stopped wrestling each other when we were 15. Like we are adults. That's not what we do anymore. And I think as well, this is different because I don't have a sister, but I feel like sister relationships are closer than a sister and a brother relationship because you're the same gender. You probably do the thing of like swapping clothes. You do the thing of like swapping dating stories.
It just felt like very coupley to me. Yeah. At first I was confused because I thought they were a couple. Not weird thing.
That's the thing that we do.
Yeah, what Neva said. I actually thought that they were dating, and then I realized they were siblings, and I was like, oh.
Have you heard of the Instagram account Siblings Are Dating?
No.
It's basically an Instagram account where they put up pictures of two people, and they ask you, are they siblings or are they dating? A lot of the time, they look really similar, so you genuinely don't know which it is. But I feel like if you put up Taylor and Jude, you would be really hard fetched to try and guess. Like, oh, I think that like you could be sitting there for ages and actually just trying to decide which one it is that they are.
Yeah,
hanging out.
Yes.
My brother and I hang out when we're in the same country. We hang out all the time. Like when I was back at home in Ireland, we hung out. We went like for coffee together. We sat and watched a rugby match together on a Saturday morning. We went to this place and did this thing together, but we would never, like, if I was planning to go away, and I am planning to go away in the end of October, I wouldn't ring my brother up and be like, hey, I'm thinking of either going to Lisbon or Rome in October. Do you want to come? It doesn't feel like the kind of thing that I would go with my brother.
Yeah, not without like I understand neither of them were married. Well, Jude had that kind of thing with his friend that was never like really talked about.
That's a new discussion we're gonna have.
but like, why would you just like, I don't know. And I know like my sibling relationship is like really weird, so I don't have anything to really compare it to. I don't know.
That's fair. But the whole thing with Jude, and I think his name was Dan or Dave or some starting with
I have no idea. Yeah.
Do you think Tessa Bailey was trying to write a same-sex relationship and it did not work? Like she chickened out halfway through?
I feel like there might be a next book. There might be another book with Jude and the boy. And I will skip.
Oh, Lordy.
That's what it felt like. Like it felt like the side characters, like how it was with.
That's something that's happening a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
Like the Written in the Stars series is all side characters from this book or the main character in this book. And the Delana Green and Astrid Parker books, side character in this book, main character in this book.
Yeah, but the difference with those books is that they're actually good. Yeah.
Exactly like I said. I think it's different if it's two sisters or three sisters.
Yeah, I agree. Like I feel like if we liked each other, me and my sister would be fine. But like I don't have a brother, and I feel like that would be weird.
Yeah. I think it's just a very...
Yes.
Yes.
And like, she would be like, oh, don't worry, I gotta go take a nap. And I'd be like, bitch, don't tell me what to do.
And also, wasn't he older than her?
I think she might have been older.
Okay.
It was hard to tell what everyone's age were.
I think the conversations they had were weird too. It got a bit personal and in detail about stuff that you shouldn't know about your sibling. Confirmed.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you, Emma. It just made me feel so icky. But I don't have a brother.
Wasn't there... I know that she went to a sex shop at some stage of the book.
Yes.
I don't remember if she told him that that's where she was going or if she was just like, I'm just going out.
I'm pretty sure she told Miles something about like taking care of herself or something, but she didn't tell Jude. At that point, she was like, "Just go take a nap." Like she always told him to go take a nap, and I was like,
on this point, can we discuss about how fragile this man's masculinity was?
Miles, yeah.
It was like if he looked at another man, it would shatter to pieces. Like he was so hooked up about this idea of, oh, she's gonna get off using a vibrator rather than with me, or she might fall in love with some other man in the future who doesn't exist.
Thank you,
but also weird. He was jealous of a vibrator. I'm trying not to scream so that Michelle's very young children don't hear me.
Oh, please. I say fuck all the time.
It was masculinity so fragile it would shatter. Like he was obsessed with the idea of her having another man that wasn't him, fulfilling her needs emotionally, physically, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be attracted to that. Like I just don't understand the men that Tessa Bailey wants me to be attracted to. Like,
that is
so confused.
Like I have never met a man more in need of therapy, a bath, sit down, a glass of water. Like somebody needed to sit him down and say, this is too far too soon.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how is Tessa Bailey okay?
I honestly don't think she's okay. If you want me to ask her this when I meet her next month, I absolutely can. I'll film it and I'll just be like, nice to meet you. Are you okay?
On behalf of Rom-Comathon, we just wanted to do a mental health check-in.
Yes, we can.
I have to bow out of that conversation because I didn't listen to the audiobook, but I am so happy to hand the mic to you on that.
Okay, so I'm not kidding, and Lexi said the same thing, and I don't even think I said this to her, but the narrator for Miles sounded like a Stephen King narrator, and not like in a good way, in like a serial killer way. Like he sounded very gruff.
He sounded like he was 70 years old.
Yes, he sounded like a 70-year-old smoker. It was just like a very and you would think if this was self-published that. Oh, okay. Wait,
that is a good point. That is a good point because I know that Lexi had sprints yesterday on her channel and she played some of it, but I was out in the kitchen, so I missed that part.
I gotta find Chirp.
Played some of it as well, and I feel like that's something that needs to be experienced.
Hold on, let me take it down to 1 speed.
Go ahead.
Stop.
This is gonna sound like somebody who's drunk now. When you're so used to like 2.5, this is going to sound like...
Hold on.
Go ahead.
And Ashley Rogers.
Hold on, wait.
Very specific with a hook out on Instagram, but...
It's going so slow because it's 1 speed. Please kill me.
Okay. That's okay.
So, was the Chapter 2.
Chapter 3.
Here we go.
Miles. I climb off my bike and pop an antacid. Well, isn't Cape Cod just cheerful as hell on this sunny Thursday afternoon?
This man sounds about 97.
I told you, and like a smoker.
This man
I swear to God, he has.
This man sounds like he has been waiting in line at the supermarket for about 7 hours, and people just keep cutting ahead of him. And he's like, I gotta go places. And I'm like, sir, this is a problem.
And you would think like Tessa Bailey probably chose this narrator. And I was like, what? She's not okay. I'm going to ask her. Tessa Bailey. Hello, nice to meet you. My name is Michelle from Michelle's Library. Are you okay?
On behalf of Rom-Comathon, we're concerned.
We would all like to know.
We are concerned for you.
Are you okay? Because the answer is no. Anyway, I put in my vlog that I wanted people to tell me if I should unhaul it, but this has just, I'm going to unhaul it.
I think you should unhaul it. I mean, I have a teeny wee pile right there that you can barely see, but it's 2 books.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to get it signed if I'm just going to unhaul it. You know?
That's fair. If you were to repick the group book, and I would love to hear comments about this one as well. If you were to repick the group book, is there anything that comes to your head already about what you would pick as the group book?
Honestly,
yes, had heartburn.
So my favorite book that I have read for rom-com, was The Wedding Crasher, and I feel like I can't even tell you how good that was. And it's not just that it's good, but the diversity in it was good. And I'm sorry, but Tessa Bailey is so white and only writes white people, and we're all white, and that sucks, you know? But like that one was so good. You could get it signed and then sell it for more. Yeah, not get it personalized and just get it signed. That's a good idea.
Or say that your name is generic reader.
Just sign it, please.
Put your name. I don't have a name, just put your.
But if we do rom-com, it really was. Everyone, Rye read it and gave it 5 stars. I loved
Fake It. This is also one that was read by so many people.
It was so good and made me want cupcakes so bad.
Did Rye read that one as a buddy read with you?
No, I read it.
What was her buddy read?
I don't know. We didn't buddy read anything. Well, she kind of buddy read The Wedding Crasher with me.
Awesome.
Accidentally.
Accidents of buddy reads are the best type of buddy read, though.
They really are. But we were talking about doing this next year and having you guys vote on the group book instead of just like handing you one.
Yes. So we were thinking of, say if we did it again I'll pick a month, July. Say if we did it in July, that in May, we would start asking tentatively, hey, do you want to have a buddy read for this? Do you want to have a group read? Because some people might think that excludes them in a way that they can't access it via their library, or they don't have the money to purchase it at the moment, or it's just out of their reach for other reasons, like geographical reasons. It's not in print in their country yet, which is something that you and I will have experienced when we're talking about books that you have read, but they're in the US, so I don't have the access to it yet, or that I will have read from a UK author or an Irish author or another European country that you don't have access to because it hasn't gotten a US publisher yet.
Yeah, it's hard.
That is also a good idea.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That is also a good idea. And I think having that kind of community of it does also add to the whole community feeling of Rom-Comathon in general. And I think that is a good idea. Like, there's no better month to do it in February.
Works for me.
Works for me too. And I do feel as well, like you said, that if it is going to be a buddy read, it should be something diverse. It should be something that has a lot of either LGBT rep, people of color, both if possible.
Yeah, because I feel like, so the reason I stuck with YA for so long is that it was so diverse. You know, the like YA is really good at that. And unfortunately, adult romance is literally just catching up to it. It's just catching up. It's like, oh, we should have diverse authors. Oh yeah, let's do that now.
I read Love and the Disasters maybe June of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I, in June, turned 30 years old, and I've been reading for quite a lot of those 30 years. And that is the first book that I've read with a non-binary. I mistake myself. The second book that I've ever read with a non-binary character. And it shouldn't be that hard to find them.
I know. And I love that book.
It's really good. But it shouldn't have been like this whole thing of, oh, I've only ever read 2 books with non-binary people in it.
Right. I agree.
But it is definitely something that we would love to have people's input on a bit more, to say what books, not just that Michelle and I think you might want to read, but you'll know your own tastes more than we would do. So you might say, oh, we'd love to have a romance, like a group read that focuses on plus size characters, or we'd love to have a group read where one of the characters is non-binary, or we'd love to have a group read where one of the characters is like a second generation immigrant or a first generation immigrant or something like that. It is better, but it's also not really up there.
It's not as good as YA, which is seriously why I stuck with YA for so long and then made the jump from YA to romance, because that just felt like the most
natural progression.
Yeah, it was diverse still, and it's still not even diverse.
I think February is the best time to do. I'm going to check my calendar now, which is why my eyes are not looking anywhere near anything. But the week of Valentine's Day, it starts on Monday the 13th, which is a fairly doable time in my calendar. I know that February is a really long time away, so people might not have the answer to it right now. But it is something that you could tentatively put in your calendar and say, we're thinking of running this again in February. And then, of course, that will mean like whole new prompts, whole new board, whole new ideas, whole new group read that we might discuss in like January or so.
Yeah, honestly, I would think about what you would like to see for a group read now.
Yeah. Like if any, like we will have the rom-comathon Instagram still open. Like we're not going to just shut that off by the end of this week and never look at it again. I'll still have it on my phone. So if you want to come up with suggestions for the group read, or if you have just read a rom-com and you're like, oh, rom-comathon, please share this with the world because I think it's a really great book about XYZ. We'd love to see it. We'd love to hear it about it. Very true.
You're so right.
Very true. Like this is something that I said in my vlog, and it kind of harks on to Emma's point here, that personally, I feel like the main reason that so many of you joined, and we're so grateful that you joined, and we loved interacting with you this week, and we love seeing all of your TBRs and all of the books that you finished and all of your thoughts about them. But I think that a big reason that so many people have gotten on board with this is because of the state of the world right now. It is literally and metaphorically on fire with like the Ukrainian war, with inflation, with climate change, and like the bananas temperatures and weather that we've had over the summer. That people need something that's going to perk them up a little bit. And there's nothing that's going to perk you up a little bit like knowing that you're reading a story or that you're involved in something where it's going to be okay at the end of it. Okay, you have got the shitty third act break to go through. You have got like the bananas, I didn't communicate this with you, and now for no reason we are not talking, we are not sleeping together, we ignore each other's existence. But after that, they'll get back together. And you know that they're going to get back together because it's a hallmark of a romance book. But I feel like we needed that kind of like spring in our step and a little pep up to kind of distract us from how the world is at the moment. And I might just be completely spitballing and people are like, no, I just read books because I like reading them. But if you agree, if you disagree, if there's anything that you add or take away from that, I'd love to see it in the comments. What's your points?
My points? I just am like, so we put the Instagram together and then like 2 weeks ago it blew up and like everyone was posting their TBRs and stuff. And I was like, library, I was like overwhelmed with how many TBRs and stuff we were getting. Like I did not think like anyone
Before
besides
this,
Lexi was going to do this.
Before this, we were messaging each other back and forth like, this is happening. People are excited about this.
Yeah, like I don't know how they found us or whatever, but I got so many people messaging me and were like, this is so cool. Like they loved the prompts. They didn't necessarily love the group read, but that is okay because none of us really did. But as a like first time rom-com, I always do that. As a first time readathon, you know, we're both doing this for the first time. I think it went really well.
Yeah. But like it's like everything, there's always going to be stuff that we can change, and there's always going to be stuff that we can make better for the next one. And we are
open to feedback.
Yeah, we are always open to you saying, we think you did this part really well. We think you could work on this part a little bit. We'd love to see this part. We would like less of this part. It's always something that we're here for.
And if you want to do it in February, we can definitely do it.
We can make February happen.
Yeah.
We can make February read again. Anyway, I think that is everybody's thoughts, opinions, feelings, discussions on My Killer Vacation.
I think I'm going to get it signed and then try to sell it for more.
Yes. I think getting people involved is always going to be a good idea. But we have loved reading with you this week. We have loved having you here this week, but it's not over yet. We've got one more day left to go, and we're going to close it off on Michelle's channel.
Yes, I have sprints on my channel tomorrow at noon Eastern. That is 6 Berlin and 5
in the UK, Ireland, 6 Berlin.
I'm learning.
Time zones are hard, girl.
Every single morning, I'm messaging Aoife, and every single morning, Castleman's like, who are you talking to this early? And I'm like, Aoife, she lives in Berlin. It's 6 hours ahead.
When you... Because I know what time your viewing schedules are. I'm always like, oh, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here.
Yeah.
Or 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. It's 7 o'clock in the morning for Michelle.
Yeah, because I'm like,
starting to wake up. I wouldn't expect to hear from you in a couple of minutes.
I know, like I'm messaging you at 7:30. I'm up. Like I've already had my coffee at 7:30. He's like, who are you messaging? Who's up? And I'm like, Aoife. She lives in Berlin. She's been up.
That is true. I was very much running on me time, and here I have a day and a half. It's coming on to 7 o'clock
It's early afternoon for us, so
it's coming on to 7 o'clock in the Germany. So I live in the Germany, but I come from the Ireland,
and I live in North Carolina, so we are very far away from each other, but we make it work.
Yeah. But yes, we're going to finish it off on Michelle's channel tomorrow. So if you still have to check off the reading sprints square of the book, of the bingo board, of the book, of the bingo board, you are more than welcome to join us. We will probably go for about 3-4 sprints.
Yeah, I usually go from noon to 4. If you need to end early at any point, let me know, but I can't usually go past 4.
No, that's 6. Yeah, that's usually fine for me.
10,
that's good for me. Then, whoever is there tomorrow, we will see you all there tomorrow. Thank you so much you have got to start learning which hands are in the screen.
No, ma'am. I'll figure it out.
We'll see you on tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.